Hi, I'm Joel Goldstein with Goldstein Group Communications. I'm talking today about B2B marketing trends that we're seeing evolving and coming together for 2024. Certainly AI is one of the things that everybody talks about, and we're going to talk about that and other items today as well. So some of the things that we're seeing, if the pandemic is having an effect on how people look for information, find companies. We're seeing a lot of differences generationally in how millennials and Generation Z identify companies and products that they want to learn more about. We'll talk about that. We've talked quite a bit in the past about the sales funnel, and every company has a sales and marketing funnel. And people used to think of it like this, where it was very logical. People would go from lead to marketing qualified to SQL, sales qualified lead to quote to customer in a very linear fashion. And we're just finding that's not the case at all. We'll share with you some research that Gardner Group has done, big consulting firm, and we see a lot of what they're reporting in practice as well. The attention spans, we all intuitively feel this, are getting shorter and shorter. That changes the type of content and the approach that we use. We're going to need to use for marketing, and we'll talk about AI. So one of the things that we're seeing is that HubSpot came out 10, 15 years ago with this concept of inbound marketing, getting people to your website, putting up some white papers, and having people fill out a gated landing page. And that still works. That is working well, and that's been working for a while. But we have seen an increasing difficulty in getting people to complete landing pages with their company emails, more and more Gmail addresses, because quite frankly, particularly for many of the engineers and technical audiences that we market to, they know that when they fill out that lead form, they know what's going to happen, that they're going to begin being contacted by the company in a marketing automation campaign, and they try to avoid that by putting Gmail addresses out there. So what this means is that we have to create different kinds of content, more engaging, interactive types of content. And we'll talk a little bit more about how we do that. We're doing certainly a lot of videos and a lot of ebooks and infographics that have embedded videos and interactive features as part of that. One of the other pieces that we're seeing is, I mentioned earlier, generational differences in how people look for information. This is the data from a study that we did for one of our clients. They sell to electronic engineers, so it's a very technical audience. Quite frankly, we've been doing this study for 30 years. And when we did this recently, this is the first time that we've seen such dramatic differences between younger engineers, people who've been in the field for 1 to 10 years, compared to more senior engineers that are 21 years plus. We've never seen differences to this one question: what sources do you feel are most credible in informing your decision to purchase? In other words, where do you go to find information about new companies and products? We've never seen the difference, the gap between 1 to 10 and 21 plus that we saw in this study. For example, if you look at colleagues, word of mouth and colleagues used to be a huge driver that would form information about where you go and what kind of products to buy. So when a younger engineer or younger buyer of anything needed information, they just leaned over to the person in the cube next to them and said, "Hey, I need to buy this. Who should I buy it from?" And now what we see is a lot of times there's nobody in the cube next door. He or she is working from home, or that person has retired. So while it used to be 57% would rely on colleagues, now that's down to only 39%. Still a big number, but the gap there is significant. Another gap that we see that's just incredible is the industry publications. For this audience, that's magazines like EE Tech and EE Times and Electronic Design and EDN, very, very common publications. And, 30 years ago, they were print magazines, and then they evolved to become online media sites. And we still do a lot of advertising on those online media sites because we know that historically that has been a great place to go to reach people and find new people to sell to. But look at the difference there. Younger engineers, 36 compared to 62%. That's a massive difference. It implies that that's no longer the place to go. The number one place to invest your time, according to this study, for 1 to 10 and 11 to 20-year people is the company's website. We just have not heard that before, because what people would say is, well, certainly I think the company's website is a place to go for information, but it's kind of biased, right? I'm not going to believe what the company says as much as these third-party websites like EDN and eetimes.com. That's not the case anymore. They look at that website as the place to go for information. So certainly the work that we're all doing on websites, on our own company websites, needs to be as robust and engaging and technically detailed as we possibly can make it. Other items that we're seeing, social media, 17% among the young. Not surprised to see it at 0% among the 21 plus years, but 17 was a little bit surprising that they use that as one of their 5 most credible places to go. That kind of implies that we need to make the technical content we put on social media a little bit more deep. Social media is a great place to go put information about employee cookouts and anniversaries and things like that, about employee culture, but increasingly a technical audience is looking for technical information on social media as a place to go to learn about products. And then the last one, testimonials. Again, big difference there, 33% compared to 14% among the more tenured people out in the market. So that just goes to show that the value of these testimonials among younger people is really very critical. Now, Gartner, this was our study. Gartner's study did the same thing. Gartner Group is a very, very large technology and marketing consulting organization, and they did a study recently that kind of mirrored a lot of these same points. One of the questions in their study was, during the sales process, is the company's website or the salesperson from the company more or less valuable, more or less credible? And you can see on this chart that it's just about exactly the same, whether it's in early stage problem identification or late stage validation. They look at the company's website as equally valuable to a salesperson. And this explains why it's so hard for salespeople anymore to get face time with people. In fact, FaceTime as part of the purchase process in the Gartner study is down to 17% of the total amount of time somebody spends during the purchase process evaluating a company or a product. And if you're one of 3 companies they're evaluating, you're down to 5%. And if you're talking to a millennial, it's 0%. The millennials, 44% of millennials said they want to spend 0 amount of time with a salesperson. And one of the reasons is likely that younger people are just skeptical of what they hear from a salesperson. In fact, millennials are twice as skeptical as the baby boomer generation to believe what they hear from a salesperson. So what that means is Gartner then takes that information and they're mapping the complex B2B sale. And remember I said, we all used to think about a sales funnel as this smooth linear thing that people would progress logically down. But when Gartner presents this map, you see that it's anything but smooth and linear. It is stops and starts and multiple people involved as you go through this entire purchase process. And then when you look at, well, where does digital marketing come into play? It's all throughout that, early stages web search and white paper downloads. And as you move along, we've got supplier website visit and online content and LinkedIn discussion to all the way toward later stages, discussions with customer references and customer testimonial video reviews. So what you see is that that digital marketing has to play a more aggressive content role, website role, as a person moves from the left side awareness, brand awareness stages to the right side brand preference stages. And what that really means is that we kind of have to change the type of content, as I mentioned earlier, the type of content that we're putting out there. It can't just be these static white paper, 4-page PDFs anymore. It has to be, as we've said, all of these items such as customer reviews and web videos and virtual demos and chat and webinars and social proof and explainer videos, all these types of things. We have to raise the bar. We can't just continue to do these blogs and white papers and present them the same way that we've been doing in the past. One of the reasons for that is not only the complex sale and starts and stops that we're seeing and all of these different touch points that require an omni-channel approach. Well, one of the problems that we have is that people are becoming more distracted with shorter attention spans. And the study is that the attention spans are now down to 47 seconds from 2.5 minutes the last time this group did that study. And what that means is that we have to engage in, as I said, more interactive, more powerful types of content, and even more storytelling to get people involved and keep their attention. When we post a blog, it can't just be 1,000 words that we're putting up on a site. It has to have a lot of anchor text at the top. It has to have a section that says, this is what you'll learn. It has to have a lot of subheads, bullets. We've got to make our content scannable, and if it's online, clickable, interactive, video focused, mobile focused. So now let's talk a little bit about AI. Obviously, AI is driving a tremendous amount of change in B2B marketing and in everything, right? So a recent article came out saying that just since the beginning of the year in 2023, January 2023, 7,000 new sales and marketing software tools that are AI-based have been introduced to the market. And that's just sales and marketing. Certainly, there's got to be an equal number in ERPs and HR and legal and accounting. AI is obviously redefining everything that companies are doing, and that applies to sales and marketing. We're really very excited about it and see a tremendous amount of opportunities to improve the way companies are doing B2B sales and marketing. So it's not just a tool that's the latest bright, shiny object, but we do see AI immediately and today having an effect on helping companies create more sales qualified leads, more opportunities, shorter sales cycles. Overall, we look at it as helping us lower the cost of sales and marketing. I went to a presentation recently by one of Google's AI thought leaders. And she said that one of the effects of AI is that it's going to quickly separate people into two groups, thinkers and thunkers. Thinkers are the people who bring strategy and insight and creative thinking to problem solving, and thunkers are just people who execute what others tell them to do. So certainly AI is going to radically redefine the role of thunkers, the need for thunkers. And that role is going to be increasingly moved over to AI, and that's not something that we're going to see in 3 to 5 years. That's something we're seeing today. So how are we using AI? How can you use AI? There's really a lot of different different tools that are out there. We're using it for helping us write more quickly, create more content in less time. It's writing meta tags and search content. It's writing, we're also using it to create what we're describing as an answer bot for clients, walled off Q&A. It's a tool called customgpt.ai. It has embedded decision trees in it so that a person can go to a website. And right now, live chat is good, but live chat is really kind of superficial in many cases. It's only monitored during work hours. Technical audiences tend to go to websites during off hours as part of their research. So we can use this answer bot technique. It scrapes everything on a website. And unlike ChatGPT, which ingests that content and shares it with the world, the AnswerBot tools we're building now are walled off and protected from being distributed to anybody outside the company. They're very, very powerful. You can ask all types of very detailed questions about product performance and specs. And when we think about the earlier studies where we want to make our websites the valuable go-to place to get an answer right away, these AnswerBot tools, AI-driven AnswerBot tools, are going to be a very powerful way to do that, to keep people on your site instead of having them frustrated that they can't find the answer and go to your competitors. Also, our developers on staff are using AI tools to write software code. CodeGPT is one of the more popular ones. That's certainly, for those of you who have any developers on your teams, that's one of several that are out there. Our creative teams are obviously using it for a lot of AI generated video and audio and animation and PowerPoints. We can take it's still images, and if they're fuzzy, AI can make them crisp. We can take a vertical image, and if we need to make it horizontal, AI can just do that in an instant. Very, very powerful tools that are out there. We're using Seamless AI and other database. HubSpot has built in some database prospecting tools. ZoomInfo is a very powerful AI-generated prospecting tool. So there's a lot of prospecting tools that we can use to uncover opportunities that will help our sales teams be more focused and more effective in who they are targeting and prospecting. Again, shortening that sales cycle. Salesforce is coming out with new tools that they say are predictive, and they have two buckets, predictive and recommendations. And AI is going to drive those two buckets of capabilities for Salesforce customers to help point their sales teams to people that they should call on. Right now, Salesforce is making that available only to its enterprise customers. We certainly expect them to begin making that available to their smaller and mid-sized companies as well. Search is going to blow up because of AI. This is a screen grab of the Google beta tool that is being rolled out, and you'll see that if I do a search, in this case it's a search for one of our clients, the term was sight glasses, I see this AI generated text. It's giving me an answer. It's not what I see on Google now, which is a series of web links that I have to kind of scroll through and cobble together an answer on my own, and maybe the website has it and maybe the website doesn't. But here, the new AI-driven Google tools, they'll present me with the answer. And that doesn't mean that content isn't important. The blog item that you see there on the left is our client's blog. So content is still going to drive AI-driven search. But what that means is that the text that we write, because Google's going to be scraping it and presenting that in their answers, has to be very crisp. It has to be comparative. We tell clients, don't tell me what you do, tell me what you do better. And that writing and comparative advantages has to be embedded in everything that Google is going to begin scraping on our web pages and on our blogs and on our web papers and all of our content, because that's what defines what's going to be presented here. So that will be very important as we move forward. So we do see that a variety of these AI tools are going to help salespeople sell more in less time. The obvious nirvana, the holy grail of all types of technology. And we do see AI today helping sales teams do this more effectively. Using AI to help write better emails, better call scripts. As I mentioned earlier, we're building chat answer bot tools with decision trees built into them. So there's quite a bit of advantages that salespeople have in the software tools that are out there to use today. One of the really powerful things for those of you who've used ChatGPT, you know that, well, I can just go to chat and I can type a sentence. I don't have to learn how to program anything. I can just type a sentence and it will write something based on the sentence, on the prompt that I put in. That's really powerful. And in fact, that type of capability is being applied to CRM tools. HubSpot has just done a great job with this, and Salesforce is right behind it to allow them to do the same thing. So if I'm a salesperson and I want to generate a report of all the people who haven't responded to my quote in the last 45 days, I can get that information in Salesforce, but I really have to kind of understand the tool to be able to go into that tool and know where to click on and to generate a report, and I have to go into the dashboard and I have to build my filters. Well, now, as a salesperson, I'm not going to have to know any of that. I'll just be able to go to my CRM and type that sentence. How many contacts do I have? Who hasn't responded to me in the last 45 days? Build a report, a pipeline report for me and separate it by industry. So I'll be able to do all of those things without any training, without having to go to a Salesforce administrator. I'll have access at my fingertips as a salesperson to make me more effective. If I'm going to a trade show, I can just go to the CRM and type the sentence. Send an email to all of the people in my contacts in the state of Michigan to invite them to the trade show, the battery show that's coming up next month, and to come see me in booth 405. So think about that as a tremendously powerful tool that now all of a sudden is in a salesperson's hands. No programming. They'll just be able to type whatever sentence they want to make the tool do what they need it to do. The other part of AI, as I mentioned earlier with search, that's becoming increasingly important for marketers, is to make sure that all of our copy is as comparative as possible. So for any product or any service, we're walking clients through these 7 key questions, and they must be answered in the copy that Google AI tools are going to be scraping and presenting in their search results. What's the sweet spot application, the title? When people complain about these things, I know they're a good prospect. These are the things that my product does better than anyone else. We call these questions only, trigger, and switch messaging. So we want to make sure that we write and articulate clearly what are the things that only I can do, what are the pain points or triggers that make people go search online at that instant to find a better solution than I'm using now. And the last are switch messages. What do I need to hear to get me to switch from an existing customer to a new customer? It's really critical that salespeople have this document with these answers in front of them all the time. If they're going to be writing emails and if they're going to be making their own call scripts with these powerful chat tools, we want to make sure that they have the answers so that they know how to prompt and focus their messaging. And I mentioned earlier that HubSpot really has done a great job of embedding AI into their tool. They've come out with a new tool that is available today called ChatSpot that has a variety of these reporting and CRM and image generators and content generators embedded into the tool. And they're really very powerful. So kudos to HubSpot for doing that. I know Salesforce is right behind. They haven't done it for Pardot yet. They have only done it for their enterprise customers as of when I'm recording this. But Salesforce is going to be right behind them. So watch for that if you're a Salesforce user. And in fact, we see a huge amount of CRM and sales tools that HubSpot has introduced. Again, expect to see this from Salesforce soon as well. And so many of you have seen these maturity curves that we've used for a variety of our clients. Um, and We will publish this for AI as well. So our approach is to take somebody and move them over time from basic to intermediate to higher level tiers of performance, and we'll be publishing these types of AI maturity curves, and they will change, as I mentioned, with all these new tools coming out. We'll be republishing this every few months as a new batch of tools are introduced onto the market that we're excited about, and we see bringing new capabilities, powerful new capabilities to our clients. That's our presentation about 2024 B2B marketing trends. It's really a very exciting time to be in marketing. You know, there's two kinds of people in the world. There's the kind of people when they see an explosion, they run away from it, and then there's the kind of people who run toward the explosion. And that's what we're doing with AI and with all these tools. We're excited about it. We don't see them as a threat that's making our jobs go away, but as powerful new capability tools that's going to make us more valuable for our clients and giving them insightful recommendations for B2B marketing. Contact us to learn more. We'd love to talk to you about how we can apply some of these new tools and trends to your advantage to help generate more leads, more quotes, and more customers in the coming year.